Between my brands, clients, and students, I'm helping people spend well over $1 million a week on Meta ads. And right now, the most misunderstood and underused ad format on the entire platform is the 322 flexible ad. At its base level, a flexible ad is simple. You're giving Meta multiple creative inputs, and you're letting the system decide how to combine and present them for each impression. We're going to start by opening up the account and building one together, step by step. If you've been working harder and harder every month just to maintain the same results, this is going to make a lot of things click. All right, let's get into it. So let's actually build one of these together. I'm inside of the Ads Manager now, and I'm going to create a new ad so you can see exactly where this lives and how it works. At the ad level, instead of choosing a standard ad format, we're going to choose flexible ad. This is the format that replaced dynamic creatives, and it's where the entire 322 system lives. That means 3 creatives, 2 headlines, and 2 primary texts. Nothing more than that. First, we'll add 3 creatives. These should be 3 videos or 3 images, not a mix. We want the system comparing like for like. We're not asking Meta to decide between formats and messages at the same time. That's not a good test. If you want to test images versus video, do that in separate flexible ads, not inside the same one. Then we add 2 primary texts, different angles, different hooks, different reasons to care. Next, we add 2 headlines. These should be meaningfully different. Not small wording tweaks, but 2 distinct ways of framing the value. Not rewritten versions of the same idea. And that's it. 3 creatives, 2 headlines, 2 primary texts. 3, 2, 2. That gives Meta 12 possible combinations to work with. And this part is very important. We are not trying to give everything a fair chance. Now, I hope you're enjoying watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I want to take a moment and just say thank you for watching it. Go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos, and take a moment to join the Disruptor Academy, where you can get for free all the assistance that you need, all the things that we talk about in this video. There's a link right there. All right, with that being said, let's get back to it. Spend is a meritocracy. The system is going to put more spend behind the combinations that create the best experience and the best outcome based on early data. And that's exactly what we want. There's no placement customization here. No aspect ratio micromanagement. No guessing which version goes where. Now that you've seen exactly how simple this is to build, the real question becomes, why does this work so much better than launching separate post IDs? And that is what we're going to break down next. Separate buckets versus shared learning. There's one really important thing to understand about how Meta learns. When you run ads one by one, every single ad learns on its own. Each post ID has its own data, its own learning, and its own history and social proof. Think of it like this. Every ad is filing its results into a separate bucket, and those buckets don't talk to each other. So if you launch 5 separate ads, you don't get 5 ads learning together. You get 5 ads competing. One ad might get the conversion, another gets the click, and another looks great for a day or 2. But none of that information is shared. And when one ad starts to look better, Meta will shift spend towards it. That spend has to come from somewhere, and most of the time, unless you're increasing the budget, it comes from your other ads, even the ones that were already working. And that's why older ads suddenly look worse when you launch a bunch of new tests, because those new tests are launched at the bottom of the funnel and steal all of the data. People usually call this ad fatigue, but most of the time it's not fatigue, it's fragmented learning and spamming the bottom of the funnel. A 322 flexible ad works very differently. Instead of separate buckets, all of the data flows into one place. The creatives don't learn alone. The headlines don't learn alone. The primary texts don't learn alone. They learn together. So when something starts to work, that information doesn't get trapped inside of one ad. It can be leveraged across all ads inside of the 322, and it carries that forward. That's the shift. Instead of the system constantly resetting itself, it starts building on what it already knows. Instead of having dozens of low data sources with low confidence, it is all consolidated into one place. Next, I want to show you why this matters so much over time and how keeping this structure simple is what makes success easier than ever. Why 3 creatives and only 2 of each copy. This is where the 3-2-2 structure really matters. We all know one thing for sure. Creative moves the needle more than anything else. So our job isn't to overwhelm the machine with options. Now, in Google, you are trying to overwhelm with options because you want every single possible thing that somebody could have typed in to be represented. But on Meta, we're not trying to account for everyone. We want the best users. We want the machine to be able to make the best choices. Our job is to give Meta and Andromeda the best chance to find the best creative as fast as possible for the right person in the right order. That's why we only give it 3 creatives. With 3, Meta can make a real decision quickly. 1 creative will usually separate itself pretty fast. Spend will then concentrate. Signals get clear. And remember, 1 creative is 4 types of ads because those 2 primary texts and 2 headlines. But if you load 5 or 10 creatives into 1 flexible ad, the learning slows down, and often whatever gets lucky early is the only thing that gets spent out of the entire ad. Not because Meta is bad, but because you've given it too many questions to answer at once, so it goes off of any win it can find. 3 creatives is enough variety to learn without creating noise. Now, if you want to test more than 3 creatives, you don't put them all in one ad, you create multiple 3-2-2 flexible ads. If you want to test 6 creatives, that's simply 2 3-2-2 ads. Now, something really important happens. Instead of 1 crowded bucket or dozens that are all completely isolated, you've created 2 clean places for all of your data to go. Each ad gets its own chance to earn spend. Each ad gets its own learning path and life cycle. And because both ads can be built around the same concept, you're not changing the strategy. You're just increasing opportunity. That gives the machine more room to work, not more confusion. This also lets you test copy in a much, much smarter way that I don't see anybody talking about. If both flexible ads use the same headlines and primary text, now you can watch what happens to spend. If the same copy dominates in both ads, that is a real signal. That copy is doing the work. And if performance differs, even when the copy is the same, you know that the copy isn't the reason the ad is winning or losing. You can really point to the creative with much higher confidence, and that is incredibly useful. It tells you whether a result is something you can trust, or something that's just lucky, or perhaps something that is driven by a specific creative. That is real A/B testing, 1 variable at a time, fast learning, and clean signals. And instead of guessing which win matters and trying to infer something that is completely out of your control, the machine tells you. And that's the difference between chasing performance and building a system you can actually rely on with a feedback loop that allows you to get better and better over time. And once a 3-2-2 flexible ad has been running for a bit, the most important signal to look at is still spend. Spend tells you what the machine believes. And when spend concentrates and the campaign is better because of it, that is a real winner, whether that's around 1 3-2-2 or 1 element within it. Now here's something really, really important. There is no rush to pull post IDs. The worst thing anyone can do is interrupt something that's already working. Flexible ads are doing their job. They're learning, they're improving, and they're driving results. We don't stop that. What we can do is start harvesting from what is going well. Think of flexible ads as your proving ground, as your testing environment. And in your 1 campaign control ad set is where you put all of the proven assets. So when you see a flexible ad performing well, you don't shut it off. You don't stop good things. You don't turn off good money. You simply start pulling the best performing post IDs and introduce it into the control environment. That way you're not replacing anything, you're just adding evidence and leverage. And this is where the system really starts to work. And one thing I want to call out here is I do not expect the single post ID that you pull to necessarily perform as well as the whole 322. It is the all-star on the team, not the whole team. And when you put it inside of an ad set of other all-stars, now it's a contributor to a team that is much greater than the team it came from, right? An all-star team is built of everybody who's good. Right? It's a collection of unicorns. We can't expect them all to dominate in the same way when it was one unicorn with a whole bunch of scrubs. That's just not the way it works. So don't be alarmed when performance doesn't look the exact same, especially right away. So let's talk about how to get the post ID. How to grab the post ID. Inside of your business manager, I want you to go to your inbox. Look for the ads getting the most comments and engagement. When you have a real winner, a real unicorn from a 322, it won't be subtle. When you have a great white shark in the backyard pool, you notice it. You'll see people reacting, commenting, and engaging. Simply click the timestamp on that post, and it will take you directly to that ad. The URL will contain the post ID or the video ID. All you have to do now is copy that and then head back inside of the Ads Manager, and you can create a new ad inside your one campaign control ad set. And from there, you choose Use Existing Post, and you paste that ID, whether it's the post ID or the video ID. That's it. Now you've isolated the unicorn, the great white shark in the backyard pool, and you've added it to your all-star team. And now you can watch how that same asset performs along with your other proven ads in a stable, controlled environment, while still letting the thing that's winning continue to win. And if it holds up, you've found something you can trust. And if it doesn't, nothing breaks. If it just doesn't work isolated, that's okay. Maybe the reason it worked is because the flexible ad was great, but on its own, it's just not enough. And because the flexible ad is still running, still learning, and still winning, the system continues to get better. And that's the beauty of this system. You're never betting the account on a guess. You're letting flexible ads find strength and letting the control environment confirm it and ultimately just level up the floor. So you're constantly just getting better. If the baseline continues to improve, it's hard for you to not continue to make more money. Before we move on, I want to zoom out for a second and try to tie everything together. Because once you see this as a system, everything gets simpler. So, step number 1 is flexible ads. This is where you test. Not by guessing, not by launching dozens of post IDs where you hope you got the right copy, the right creative, and it hits the right person the right way with all of the other ads running, but by giving the machine a clean 322 structure so that learning stays shared and the signals stay clear. Flexible ads are your proving ground. This is where you test. Step 2 is you harvest. When something starts to dominate spend and the campaign is better because of it, you don't rush. You don't turn anything off. You simply observe and you scale your budgets, right? You take advantage of that leverage. And when you're ready to pull the best performing post ID from what's already winning, you go to your inbox, the comment section, and grab it. That's how you scale. Now, step 3 is control. That post ID goes into the one campaign control ad set. This is your stable environment. Proven ads, clean comparisons. You're not replacing winners. You're introducing contenders and letting them prove they belong amongst all of the other all-stars, right? This is your unicorn squad, right? Step 4 is scale. If the asset holds up in the control and your campaign continues to look good, you can continue to increase the budget. Not because your dashboard looks exciting, but because the system can support it and your bank account and business results have proven this is good for you. And if it doesn't hold up, nothing breaks. Just turn off that single identified post ID because the flexible ad is still running. It's still learning. It's still feeding the system. And if it's still doing good enough, you don't turn it off. And that is the loop. You launch the flexible ad specifically to improve upon the weakest link of your control. You harvest the post ID. You introduce that into the control. And if the results continue to improve, you just add budget. No panic, no guesswork, no constant resets. Just a system that gets stronger over time and makes the answer to the most important question, which is, can I spend more money? Yes, more often than it is no. And if you can do that by even 5% 3 times a week, you can double your budget every single month. If there's one thing I really want you to take away from this, it's that you don't scale by working harder. You scale by building a better system that gives you more leverage. Flexible ads aren't a trick. They're infrastructure. They let learning stay shared. They let signals get clear, and they give you a way to test without constantly resetting your account. When you combine that with a clean process, flexible ads to test, harvest from what's already winning, validating in the controlled environment, and scaling only when all of that holds up, you stop guessing, you stop panicking, and you stop breaking things, and you start making a lot more money. The goal isn't perfect ads. The goal isn't to just win creative tests over and over again. The goal is to be able to answer one question with confidence. Can I spend more money tomorrow? If the answer is yes, you increase the budget. If the answer is no, you test deliberately until the answer is a yes. That's how the best advertisers grow. Not by chasing winners, but by building systems that win again and again. So now that you know how 322 ads work, in this next video, I'm going to show you how to actually set up your creative tests to scale your business. We're going to dive in deeper to the mechanics of everything so that you have the confidence in the decisions you're going to make. Don't forget to join Disruptor Academy down below so that you can understand how to build the one campaign method and do so much more, plus get my help in your ad account for free. All right, until next time, I'll see you on the internet. Bye.